Hello and welcome to Cheshire Audio. Now, apologies for the lack of videos. I was away last week, holiday in Cornwall, rented a house with the two sons, which is really nice. Nice break anyway. I've come back to actual carnage on email and all this sort of things, loads of things to catch up on. So it's taken me till today to actually catch up with everything. It's actually quite quiet at the moment. It is quiet. The shops, there's not been a lot of people in and out particularly, but it's just that backlog of the things of not being here. It always seems to be the way of that, really, particularly on email. A few sort of phone messages and things to catch up on. Yeah, generally when the sun comes out in the UK, nobody buys hi-fi or listens to hi-fi. It just goes quiet. Everybody goes to the garden centres or to the beach or whatever. Anything but, you know, hi-fi seems to be. Sometimes I wonder if I should buy an ice cream van and just run that in the summer and then do the hi-fi in the winter, really. What was I going to say? Yeah, ideas for videos. Basically, when I was away, I kept thinking, oh, I could do that. So I'm going to continue the cosy chat thing because I think that seems to work quite well. I'd quite like to be able to do cartridges, and I think that'll be the next one because there's quite a lot to talk about with cartridges. Some quite interesting models over the years and sort of surprising things that, you know, and disappointing things, I suppose. I'll probably end up shoving that in as well, even though I won't intend to. But yeah, things that disappointed a bit. I've got quite an interesting turntable coming in. Actually, I've been talking to this chap for a while, and he wants to bring a deck in for service. Very rare, with a deck that should have done extremely well, but hardly sold. Possibly down to marketing, possibly because it looked very similar to something else and didn't have the brand name behind it. That's going to be an interesting one. That should be a week, 10 days before I get that, because it needs servicing. So I'll get it sorted first, and then we'll have a chat about it. Product review I have got, which nearly broke me back when they came in. I've got a pair of Fyne Audio Classic 8s, which are just running on the shop system at the moment. When I've summoned up the energy, I shall be putting them into the demo room to have a proper go. Interesting, actually. They look a bit like Tannoy Cheviettes, look a little bit like the Klipsch, can't remember the name of now, not the Heresy, the taller one. Very different now, very different. So we'll have that'll be quite an interesting review, really, because there's a lot to talk about with these, because people make a lot of assumptions about them, and they're mostly not true. So anyway, yeah, so we've got the Fyne Audio Classic 8s. The other thing is, I've had my first, what's on the pile there, a couple of decks here being collected, Plenty 50. A lot of interest in that, actually. That's the first one to come through. Been collected, actually, hopefully today. The chap's on his way and he's stuck in traffic at the moment. But yeah, Plenty 50, which is lovely, actually. I think they've done a really good job of that. But talking about 50th anniversaries, I possibly got the most excited about a hi-fi product I've been for a long time, and then in the same breath got completely devastated about it as well. It sounds a bit over the top, this, doesn't it? I saw the sort of advert for the new Naim Nait 50, and on the face of it, they look like they've recreated the original Nait 1. Well, it wasn't called the Nait 1 originally, but it's the original Nait, which became the Nait 2, the Nait 3, the Nait, whatever it's up to, whatever it's up to now. And that original amp was fantastic. I bought one when it came out. It cost £169, I think it was. One of the very, very first ones out of the factory. And it was just an astonishing thing. It just seemed to drive anything. It was beautifully musical and bouncy sound and really clear and engaging and everything you would ever want from an amplifier. On paper, it was terrible because it was, I think they originally talked about it being 8 watts, then some of the press were talking about it being 12, then Naim said, well, actually, probably it's 20. And it was all a little bit, everything was a bit unsure about it, but the thing was, it drove speakers it shouldn't. It went loud enough. It was a bit limited in a big room, but whatever. But it was a great amp, and I really regretted selling mine. And nowadays, they go for a lot of money. Comparatively, you'll spend £600 to £1,000 for an original Nait. Later incarnations of it were never as good, particularly. But yeah, so I saw this, and it's a complete. On the first glance, it's a complete copy visually. It's got the same volume control, the same buttons, the same casework, the chrome bumper. But then you start reading about it, and there's phrases like a modern take on. So no, they haven't looked at the blueprints got all the components in and made another Nait 1, it's a modern take on a Nait 1. Then you notice that the balance control, albeit the very, very quirky balance control, has gone and been replaced by a headphone socket. So I think, hang on a minute, this is just a modern amplifier in the clothes of an old Nait 1. It's not really going to be a Nait 1 at all. So I don't know. Perhaps I might be proved wrong on that. I don't know. I've yet to hear one, but I just have a feeling. Yeah, I just have a feeling. I don't like, which is bothering me a little bit. It's interesting on Facebook. There was under one of the adverts that came up on Facebook. Funnily enough, there was one of the old guard from Naim who left years ago. Did a massive rant about it. Also, funnily enough, I hadn't quite thought this, but I think he's right. He was saying, why is it called 50th anniversary? And Naim are much older than 50 years. They were started in the 60s. I'm not sure about that one. I thought they were sort of roughly around the time of Lynn and Riga, but it kind of could be true actually. But anyway, yes, no, he was big rant. That's not a Nait 1. And stop calling it Nait 1 because it was never called the Nait 1. It was quite funny actually. But anyway, I'll leave it there. This is, like I say, it's just a bit of an update. I should be doing the Fyne audio review in the next 2-3 days, hopefully. Perhaps just after the weekend, I'll get that done. And the cozy chat thing probably after that. I want to do another tweakery video. I kind of ran out of subjects a little bit, but I've had an idea about it. How to tweak your system without spending any money, because there are ways, and we'll talk about that. So anyway, I'll stop there because, like I said, I've got a customer coming any minute now for this plane of 50, so I better stop. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. If you haven't already, press the button. Give us a like. Yeah, I'm thinking about Patreon. I'm thinking about Patreon as well. I don't understand it, but people keep talking about it. Said you should do Patreon. I'll have a look into that. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you in a future video.